All right, so I believe we're live on everything now. Yes, finally. Okay, so we're fully set up. So yeah, y'all. Real life is literally me just sitting here today and was just like, yo, in real life, like this is what life currently is, and this is what I'm making it. And while I'm going through this, is like shit. The different struggles. I'm gonna call it a struggle because every day, literally for me, it's like, okay, so to continue to have a positive mindset or a positive outlook, like that shit is hard as fuck. I remember reading a book once on toxic positivity, I believe it was. I forgot the author, but um, it was saying how toxic positivity is like a great thing. And me going through life now and having like brain damage and having all the shit that I've experienced, having the death experience and experiencing that and just coming back and seeing how individuals operate is like, yo, I am so grateful that before, you know, me having my death experience, I had some form of common sense, some form of understanding. I had some form of like, you should be able to make decisions and choices on your own accord and not have somebody tell you to be a good person per se. Um, so having to experience life now and to see where it's completely different and everything again is subjective based on the individuals that you're dealing with. It's like those are things now where it's like, fuck, I have to like wrap my head around this. I have to figure out how to people. um Having ADHD and autism, it's a gift and a curse because to be high functioning, you don't get grace. And when I tell you there's no grace given, there's no fucking grace given. But it's one of those things where it's like, especially when I used to speak worse, or my speech wasn't as best as it is now. There was a lot of moments where it's just like, wow, so this is what it feels like to be not only labeled, like Black in America, but also labeled an individual that would be considered, quote unquote, a crackhead based on what the medical field is taught or told. So being put onto different levels of what individuals would essentially what treat you as a, or how people would treat you, it makes you look at life different. Trust me. So all of this shit today, I'm literally sitting here like, yo, I made it through the day, and it's great. I told myself 30 minutes a day. That's it. 30 minutes a day or more, depending on how you're feeling. That's how your days are gonna end up playing out. Um, and it hit me because I ended up doing like a whole 12-month reflection. And while I was going through the whole process of doing a 12-month reflection, it hit me like, if you really cover your seven major aspects within your life, what's up, Adita? How are you? If you really cover like the 12 major aspects of your life, essentially, you should be able to look back. And I'm looking at it where it's like, over the years, I would always uh, put myself in these small boxes because I believe or felt like I didn't want to be seen or any of these things. Thank you for the gifts. But now here it is. I'm like, fuck, I still have to be seen. I still have to do all these things. How am I going to facilitate this? So today I sat there and I did a whole rundown. And, it's like I came up with a reflection over that. So I wrote relationships as one category, work and purpose, finances, health and body, home environment, creative life, energy are my top breakdown, right? So once I did that, I basically went, so for example, for relationships, I have this year taught me the difference between connection, or last year taught me the difference between connection and attachment. I learned that not everyone who loves me knows how to support me. and not everyone who supports me shows or knows how to love me the way that I needed. And I had to deepen relationships that felt safe, that felt honest, that were healing, and became more aware of just being overly given, overly explaining, carrying emotions that essentially weren't mine, and also addressing the fact that the relationship essentially that I'm building with myself was what I needed to cultivate more of, because regardless of every fucking thing that I'm doing and all the individuals that I'm bringing into my life, what I'm noticing, especially being an Earth individual, what's up, Emily? How are you? How are the babies? Um, what I'm noticing is being an Earth individual and having the whole fucking concept of reclaiming your body and your mind and everything, especially after a fucking death experience, it hits different because it's like, bitch, you're Earth. You feel me? Like, you're Earth. You're home. You're the foundation. You're everything. And I have always been these things. However, if I wanted to just be like fuck everybody, I could always be like fuck everybody. So now I'm having to work backwards and re-engineer a whole entire like fucking mindset and just everything else, and it's like holy fuck. So I can't necessarily do shit for anybody. I normally used to say when the plane's going down, what is it that they fucking say when fuck it, this is tell you how long I haven't flown. When the plane's going down, they tell you like to secure yourself and then secure everyone else around you. And that shit literally brought me back today. Like, great, I'm here trying to build relationships with everyone. However, the most important relationship I'm ever gonna have is the one I'm having with myself. Me being able to say, yo, I'm, grateful for being able to speak better, to walk better. Like, I have my moments, but that made me trust myself more with the relationships. Me saying, yo, every fucking day I'm going 30 minutes live, and if it goes over, great. I don't like peopling as much as I like peopling. I don't like peopling because it becomes draining after a while. And here it is, I'm like, fuck, for the past 2 days, I've showed up in spaces that I haven't been in, for the past 2.5 years. And it was the oh my god Jack, oh my god PG, oh my god, and I'm like, ew, oh my god, like, okay guys, chill. Like, I loved it, but then at the same time I was like, okay, this is too much. So that kind of had me like fall back within myself, and I was like, whoa, it's safe to be seeing. This is also where my app came into play. If you guys aren't already fucking with the app, start fucking with the app. I'm making so many updates to it and shit, more to come. But yeah, it was just like the more I start to say how I feel, act on how I feel, and if I could go to bed and know, like, yo, I feel fucking great about what I did today, that's how I know my relationship with myself and everyone else essentially that I dealt with for that day was a great relationship. And it's like, if we can't come to some form of understanding, it's something where it's like, I hope somewhere along the line we're able to like agree to disagree and just understand, like, yo, the relationship is still going to continue to build. It's just going to be different, essentially. Um, then my next caveat was work and purpose. So with work and purpose, I literally had to sit there and figure out that I had to stop trying to fit into different systems that no longer reflect who I am. And over the years, nothing has ever really reflected who the fuck I was. Again, this death experience was God. And everybody else just told me, like, bitch, you've never fit into these spaces. You always try to make everybody and their mom inclusive. However, you know, you can't do that shit anymore. Like, you just can't bring people just because you want to bring people. Or I'm a Taurus. So, bitch, if I invested in you and I gave you $1, I need you to go flip that shit and make it fucking, 10 by the time you get back to me in like the next 2 days type shit, because I expect the same shit that I'll do for you, you're going to do for me. Also, why I just like the saying, do unto others like you like them to do unto yourself, because, bitch, before death, when I was out here giving to the fucking world, I could count on 10 hands the amount of people, which is crazy. So I had 3,456 contacts before the accident. Now, I went to date, hold on, because I don't want to lie. Fuck it. I can't even tell y'all, but I probably have now maybe under 200 contacts. Like that's how like legit I am with people now to where it's like, why are you here? If I can't help you or you can't help me, we have no reason to even be like, yo, we're gonna entertain each other. Like, yeah, that's how like cutthroat we're getting back to those like fuck you, pay me type moments. And it's crazy because a lot of individuals used to tell me, oh, that's not a good concept or a way to look at life. And it's like, but everyone else essentially does it. Like, get the fuck out of here type shit. But yeah, I also had to start asking myself instead of what should I do, I started asking myself, who am I becoming? Because the more I started asking myself, what should I do, I was starting to get really fucking frustrated because it's like, what do you mean, what the fuck should you do? PG, you have fucking degrees, you have certifications, you have all this shit. What do you mean, what should you do? What is it that you want to do? Who's it that you're becoming? So I'm still working on the becoming phase. Um, so yeah, we're gonna figure that portion out together as we go through this portion of life. So for me, I've always been a creator in whatever facet I decided I was gonna create in. So with that, from the content creation to the coaching to the different programs and everything else that I've built in. And then now I've kind of been, now that I'm accepting the fact of, oh shit, so you've had, you know, your death experience, you transition into the recovery portion of that. You could speak to the fact of healing is not fucking linear. Healing is subjective. Everybody's going to go through shit differently. Everybody's going to talk about the same issues and fucking problems till Jesus probably comes and dies, until they figure that they want to address the issue. And there's no correct way of addressing the issue, because I'm a bitch that'll sit here and tell you that, you know, I don't fuck with my donors. By the way, my donors are the people that decide that they wanted to have me, but they didn't choose to go to a chop shop, but they hate me type shit. And it's like, are y'all retarded? So imagine before death, these niggas never did shit for me, ever. And what's funnier is my sperm donor, he will sit here and he'll tell you, oh, you remember when you were like 6 years old and you needed special shoes, and special shoes were like $3,000? And I'm looking at this nigga like, do you know how many special shoes I've needed since then, and how many $3,000 has been spent in shoes? Like, go sit down somewhere. So yeah, to then come back and be like, this is my second round of life, and these people still shit on me how they did, it doesn't make me feel great being an individual. Um, it doesn't make me feel great to say, you know, I'm this person or I'm this or I'm that, especially after going through what I went through. Because in my head, it was like, oh shit, so you're going through this experience. Now that you come back, they're going to love you, or they're going to this, or they're going to that. And it's like, that didn't happen. How the fuck do I process life now? So shit like this is all the shit that I've literally been thinking since, what, I think like June or July of last year, because it was like, how the fuck do I explain this shit? Like, before death, you weren't wanted. After death, you're not wanted. Yes, there's other individuals that like you or love you or whatever, but the fuckers that made you don't want you type shit. So that literally, it got me into like realizing like, yo, my story is not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to essentially hide. It's like, that's just gonna be your fucking story. Like, before death, after death, this is what it is. And how the fuck do you plan to deal with it? I still don't fucking know. When I tell you I'm healing and I'm not healed, because in my head is like, yo, meet this fucker in the street and just one time, just one good time. It literally. But yeah, and then that's when I also had to start addressing fear, shame, and everything else that's in it. And it's like, I never had fear, I never had shame. Anything that anyone has ever told me, if I feared it, I'm like, all right, I gotta go try it, because why do I now still have this inkling? And if there was shame, it's shame because other people didn't like this or they didn't like that. It wasn't something because I essentially chose that the first time around. And it's like, yeah, so much shit. I just had to be like, yo, these are my greatest assets. Like, PG, you talk a lot of shit, but you never fucking tell a lie. And if I told a lie, it's literally because I knew who the individual I was fucking dealing with. And it's for the simple fact that I can never be 21 with you. So pick a fucking struggle. That literally, that's how the fuck I'm dealing with situations now, where it's like, No, I lived before. I've experienced this before. I know why I am the way I am with you because you made me this way. Like, nobody likes whenever you literally start to throw shit back in their face and be like, yeah, so I did this because of this. Like, then it becomes a whole nother shit. And it's like working through those little small conversations or it's helping me to become a better person. Um, when I jumped to finances, I got really pissed off with that because I remember always being told, make sure you have 6 months of like fuck you money type shit. And in my head, I'm like, all right, bet. So I had fuck you money. I had just about all the shit that they tell you to have just in case. And here it is, my just in case happened. And because some fucker said that I was trying to commit uh unaliving myself, or I don't know how to say it on here to not get restricted, it was like, wait, what? Me? And it was like, yeah, so we believe, how did we go from you're telling me I did this to now you're telling me you believe I did this to every benefits and all this other shit on some of these contracts? This is also why I tell a lot of individuals, start reading the fine print. Yes, you have insurance, or yes, you have this, or yes, you have that. However, if certain things are reported a certain way, um, you get disqualified from all your benefits. So like whatever the shit I had with like Cobra and all these other third party insurance companies, based on the simple fact that if my shit got labeled that I wanted to take my own life, I got what is it? I got dismissed essentially of those, and because I didn't have anyone to fight for, what is it? To fight for like I forgot the word that they use, but basically fight the whole case or a lawyer to do X, Y, and Z, I basically got fucked. So there's a lot of things that you want to know when it comes to like if you were to have a situation and your health insurance or your regular insurance or the life coverages that you have, and based on how your hospital reports it, you could possibly lose everything. So for my finances, I literally have here that my finances reflected transitions. And I put S's on that because that was the safest way for me to be like, what the fuck? And not like mentally flip out. Um, what else? What else? What else? And that's all I literally have on there because it was just like I have nothing else to put for my finances over that 12-month period. Health and body. Health and body was a big one for me because they told me I wouldn't walk. They told me I wouldn't talk. Um, they told me I wouldn't do a lot of stuff. And it was just like, number one, I'm black. Number two, don't ever fucking tell me I can't do something because what the fuck? Number three, I was just like, fuck. So you're telling me I I just broke my neck in how many places? And when they said six, I said, wait, what? How do you go from one to six? And pause. When did I get released? Because no lie, the first couple of days of me being in the hospital, I was stressing the fuck out because I was like, fuck. A, I just ruined the car. B, I don't know whose fucking car just ruined because this is when we found out my memory was shot. Um, C, what the fuck? I have a whole mortgage and shit to go pay, and you're telling me that I just got into an accident. That was the most like unsettling moment because I was like, how the fuck is it that I'm laying in a bed and I'm sitting here thinking about bills? Make it make sense. Like legit shit. I was like, great, I'm gonna be homeless. Like I had all the fucking like thoughts in the world. It was just running. And it was just like, fuck, here I go again, about to be a burden to my father's side of the family because every time I've had situations, they're the ones that I'm like, hey, so as much as y'all gonna talk shit and y'all gonna do whatever, I kind of need help. And it's either you're gonna help me or you're not gonna help me. And that's what I always tell a lot of people too. Is like, yeah, my family is great. However, I can't have major problems and go to them because if they can't throw money at it to get rid of the situation, then yeah, I might as well go ask other people because they don't operate the same. So for the health and body section, I literally have on there the last 2 years have been recovery. After surviving the accident and navigating TBI. So my traumatic brain injury is called diffuse axillary injury, and Yeah, you can look it up. It's basically your head goes like that, and I believe that's why my neck broke in so many places. Um, and what is it? Yeah, so the TBI, then functional neurological disease, that's where your body decides that it wants to shut down after a while, which I figured out. Even that, I need to fucking write like a whole thesis on that because um, I figured out that based on how worked up you are emotionally, mentally, and everything, that actually does the stressors actually do add to your FND symptoms and everything else. So that is something that um, I've noticed a lot with just everything that I've been through. So apart from the typical PTSD, CPTSD, the anxiety, autisms, and everything else, I'm learning literally that healing's gonna be what I make it and what I decide that I'm gonna endure. Because again, healing isn't linear, and everyone feels that they're healing at some capacity to where it's like, I'm how should I say it? Like they're next to God or some shit. And for me, it's just like, bro, I'm forever healing. Like I'm always healing. I'm always learning. Like I'm never gonna be perfect. However, I'm always there for criticism, but make sure you're also working on yourself while you're criticizing me, type shit. Um, so with that, I also had to figure out that I had to stop a lot of things. And when I say stop a lot of things, because success for me was measured based on productivity and monetary like compensation. That to me was success. And it's like I really had to get hurt to understand like, yo, I'm gonna now start measuring my success based on my nervous system being regulated because that made me feel a lot better. That helped me not to stress out as much as I normally stress out. Learning that rest is actually productivity. Rest is something that's going to get me from point A to point B. Um, Learning that healing is going to take work. It's just like everything else. It's going to take work, and it's going to depend on me to figure out how I'm going to work it to make sure that at the end of the day works, or it's going to fit something that works for me. Learning that surviving was not the end of my story, was pretty much the end and takeaway for the whole entire process of like the health and body. Because even though I'm going through the process of, I've lost the weight, I've lost the weight, started back walking. There's just a lot of shit where it's just like having to get out of survival mode essentially helped a lot. Honestly, taught me so much about productivity, and I changed my entire mindset. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I try. Which still, for everyone that was a part of elemental wisdom, my partner is basically saying that I helped to change a mindset on productivity because I'm the let's take a nap. Yeah, you're having a bad day, go take a nap. You you're pissed about something, go take a nap. Whatever the fuck you're going through, after you've like, if you can't take a nap, touch water if you can, honestly. And if you've already touched water and everything else is going to shit, taking naps are very freaking. It's refreshing. It restores you completely, and your mind and body is gonna love you for it. Moving your body at least 30 minutes every fucking day. I love naps. You have to love naps, bro. Like, that's also going to help take you back to your inner child. I swear to you. Like, doing everything from my inner child stance is one thing that I'm not going to argue down with. And nobody is like, yo, if I'm not happy about that shit at the end of the day, or if my little inner beings aren't smiling, it's not getting done. So, yes, naps need to be at the top of the list. But yeah, once you start to work on those caveats of things that you find that's going to be great for your mind and body, from there everything else is going to fall into place. Because then you notice, you might go for a 10-minute walk to start, and your 10-minute walk, next thing you know, is 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Not to mention, while you're walking, especially if you're doing it outside, you're meeting other individuals, you're getting the sun. Like, you should feel a lot better about yourself within the first 5 minutes of you starting any walk on a daily basis. And if you can't feel better within the first 5 minutes, then it's like, all right, you have other things that's taking place where it's like, okay, you gotta deep dive into that shit. So That's for that. Next was home environment. So for my home environment, literally only I have three sentences, and my first one was a definition of home definitely changed because um, I never actually had a definition of home. And I'm gonna say that when I say this, so people be like, "Oh my God, you're crazy," but it's like I have never called anywhere an actual home until I purchased the home because it was just like, yo, man, not living on nobody apartment and get that shit like fixed the fuck up, then to go move type shit. Like, yeah, so never had a home until that. And now it's like my definition of a home is always going to be interchanging until I figure out what would be considered a home. So home is literally becoming less of a physical location and more of creating safety for oneself. And then I put a question mark next to that because I was just like, why did I just say that? So once I figured that out, I'm gonna follow back up with y'all on that. Um, Next is relocating somewhere that aligns with values, lifestyle, healing, and creativity. And whatever future version of myself that I'm creating essentially is where the final foundation for home would fall into play. Then from there, we got the creative life. So creativity I've always had. That's literally a fucking problem of mine. Yo, I create for fucking days. I just made a song that I've been working on for like the past month and a half, and I was like, holy shit, I finished the song. I now want to become a DJ and shit. Like this is how I be getting into shit. ADHD like a mother. Um, so yeah, creativity has always been on fleek. My ideas come faster than the execution. This is why I'm also like, fuck, why am I not selling my ideas to other people? And of course, I say this shit all the time. And again, I am my own issue. I'm my own problem because in my head, I'm like, fuck, to people. And then it reminds me, like, this is why I never used to people. Like, I'll create shit and then I'll get other people to run shit. Then it also hits me like that also you had the funds to do that. So now it's how do you still do what you used to do, but knowing like you don't have the money no more. If I'm like, how the fuck? And that's literally where the fuck I'm stuck at, where I'm just like, all right, you just gotta keep showing up type shit. So this is what we're doing right now. But you are. I try. So yeah, we got the executions coming out with that. So for me, I've notated on here that my challenge was never lack of ideas. It was the lack of focus. And then I had to literally sit there and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because you have the focus, you have the discipline, you have the dedication. Like, it's just in certain areas I fall the fuck off and I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck I've been doing 99.9% of the time. So this is where again me showing up every day now for these next 30 days is just showing me like, okay, I can stay focused, I can hold me accountable. I just got to be a little bit more strict with myself essentially. And of course, while I'm being strict with myself, now I have to figure out how I'm also going to gift myself because I told myself that every day that I complete something, I have to gift myself something else. Hey, J-Mo. All right. So after that, I logged energy as my next topic. By the way, when you're writing down your list, be honest as hell with yourself. I've grown to not speak to myself in a negative manner as how I used to. If you're Jamaican, if you've dealt with Jamaican people, you know, like a lot of people be like, oh my God, y'all talk so harsh to yourself. And it's like, yo, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but a majority of the time it's like a boost. So I had to figure out how to not have those negative conversations all the time, but still give myself that boost, if that makes any sense. Makes me in my life. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for your likes. So next I have the energy. So the energy shift for me was understanding where my energy leaks were. And the energy leaks literally for me was just the smallest things. However, they were still big things. So for example, overthinking. I'm probably going to overthink till Jesus comes and dies. It is what it is. Like, that is something where I'm like, yo, it's a gift and a curse. Because when someone would say, oh, you overthinking, that's a negative, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Because yes, I'm overthinking. However, I have 50 million scenarios, and out of 50 million, guaranteed one of them is going to happen. So for me, I've always had my overthinking turned into something to where when the event does happen, it becomes a, oh, okay, because I've already thought about it, or because I spent X amount of time overthinking on it, it was always a, oh, okay, I knew that was going to happen. So now it's to flip that shit to where today I found myself overthinking and I was like, pause. Why are you going like 10 on this when in retrospect that might not actually happen? And then I had to sit with myself. And then, of course, that's when I whipped out my app and I was like, okay, cool, let's dose. And, we did our breathing. We told, told ourselves that we were safe. And even when that didn't help, I had to hit my little dice. And once I hit my dice, I had sat on the wall for like 5 minutes just to be like, don't continue to overthink. So here it is. I'm like, pause. You just create a fucking tool that is going to help someone else once you actually start promoting the tool. And I'm like, why did you stop promoting the tool? Do you see how this shit works? Yeah. So I'm working through all of that currently. So also trying to save others or trying to save everyone, that is something that I'm still working on. Um, I have on here seeking validation from self because I'm still working on giving myself the proper validation that is needed. What's crazy is I remember when I got hurt. Um, this was like the first time I heard everyone in my family swear to God on like my grandmother. Because if I ever swear on my grandmother, I just know it's up. Um, Here it is. I said to of her children, I'm like, yo, why is it that when I got hurt was when everybody and their fucking mother, oh my God, we love you. You're so smart. Blah, blah. And I'm like, why the fuck y'all did all this stuff and waited until when I got hurt? There was never validation. There was never nothing. And fine, so weird. So you think that everything we do in our life, we have to wait for people for validate and tell us that, yeah, this is good or yeah, that's good. And I was like, interesting. So what you're saying is, and she was just like, yeah, we love you and we care about you, but don't wait for us to validate you. Like, if you know that what you're doing is correct, then keep going, because if you got to wait for people, and I'm like, I hear you. However, please give me some validation right now, because while you're telling me this, it's not making me feel any better. And even though I said that, she was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you gonna have to figure it out. And I was like, great. Me with brain damage. I could tell us that I need to go figure it out. But so that was also a moment where it's just like, I gotta definitely learn to continue to validate myself, which also goes back to the more I trust myself, the more I'm gonna validate, which goes back to the first conversation of relationships and me making sure that I continue to build with myself. So if I tell myself, yo, today you're wearing black, it's black. No second thoughts, no nothing, like just do it type shit. Um, Living in survival mode readdress, carrying the old version of myself. So I also have to make some form of peace with the individual that I was, because it's like you were this great individual, but you had to show up in many aspects. Um, and I say that I'm a great individual because the simple fact of everyone keeps saying this whole idea of fuck. What did somebody say to me? They said the life that you're living now is because of what you did for everybody else when you were alive. And I said, what? They're like, PG, the shit that you were doing for people, their families wasn't out here doing it for them. So whatever you're receiving now from other people is not because they're like, yeah, they're great people or blah, 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 but you did a lot of fucking good, even if you did bad. And I was just like, that's an interesting way to look at life. And it was just like, you gave before. So that's why you're able to, or that's why I need to learn to receive now. So definitely working on that and just trying to get rid of the old version of myself that felt like I have to produce to be loved, or I have to keep giving to receive type shit. What else? What else? What else? Oh, and also just realizing that when it comes down to it, my energy is going to be my most valuable currency. So I'm working the true definition of karma. Ooh, shit. If that's the case, then definitely I agree with that, because that's the only thing that's saving me right about now. Realizing that also my energy is my most valuable form of currency is something I'm working on, because to keep your energy high every fucking minute of the day is next level. And I say this again as an individual before brain damage. I was, on everything from antidepressants, Wellbutrin, you name it, I've had it. Like, yeah. So to now sit here and try and be happy without medication, and do all these things without medication, I see where when I was on the medication, it was needed because for me to do everything that I'm doing and not flip out or not, you know, go outside the box, it takes a lot. And I don't believe individuals understand, like, yo, it takes a lot of self restraint to just life on a regular basis. Imagine now. So stuff like that, I literally had to learn to protect my energy as much as possible, but also at the same time give my own self grace because I feel like I should be this strong black independent woman all the time. Then on top of that, I remember probably last year or the year before, um, when one of the ladies in our community was like, "Yo, you don't have to work for love." Oh, look at it. Not wait. I don't know if I spoke you up, Sherry, but I was literally about to say, um, when she told me like, "Yo, you don't have to perform to get love." That to me was like so on. It wasn't unheard of, but at the same time, it was still like, fuck, okay, I don't have to perform for this, but I've always had to do something for this. So now you're telling me I don't have to do this and I can still have some form of um, somebody who's still going to look at me and be like, wow, you're valuable, or wow, you're this, or wow, you're that. That was a different conversation to where it's just like, that's forever going to live with me because I've never had anyone say that. Or if I was given, I knew it was given with even if I'm giving you to not knowing that you're going to give me back type shit, it wasn't the same on the other end, if that makes any sense. So having to go through all those different facets of life and just knowing like, yo, I sat here and I wrote down these seven um these 7 steps over the past 12 months and just going through that and just being like, yo, to be honest with yourself is a lot. I did figure out my underlining theme for the past, I got hurt in 24. So, I got hurt in 24. I didn't fall off of my, hey, I want to unalive myself until about June or July. I want to say June going into July was when I was like, all right, fuck it. We're done with this whole victim mentality. We're gonna figure out our lives a little bit. We're not gonna keep being fat. You got to kind of get in the gym just a little bit. So this is when I was like, okay, I got to start saving myself type shit. And then by August of 24, we had locked in. So from August 24 to 25, literally, I've been like working on self. And for them to tell me you're never gonna speak again, you're never gonna walk. Oh, what the fuck did they tell me? Oh, you're paralyzed. Bomba clot. Yo, when these people told me I was paralyzed from my chest down, I said, where? How? He's like, yeah, no, you're paralyzed. You're not gonna be able. Bet. Say less. Don't ever fucking tell me I can't do something because I'm gonna figure it out. That's when I came up with my underlining theme for everything that I essentially went through as the reclamation. So it's basically me reclaiming my identity overall of the individual that I know I'm becoming, reclaiming my voice, being able to speak how I feel, regardless of how the other individual perceives it, because again, you never know who you're pissing off. I can say the most simplest thing, and I'm feeling or thinking that I'm playing in the lines, and I'm not really playing in the lines. So, yeah, you never know who you're going to piss off just by saying the simplest thing. With that, I still have to reclaim my voice and say how I feel, think, and thought. Reclaiming my body. Still working on that portion of that. I was saying to someone the other day that before I got hurt, I was the person where it's like, I'll tell them like, yeah, I'm not sleeping with anybody because I'm not going to run the risk of getting pregnant. Now here it is, for the past couple of weeks, we're having these conversations on kids. And it's like, even if I want to have a child, I'm like, shit, I'm now at a deficit to where my body probably can't handle said situation. So here it is now. Before I was priding myself on Especially with some of my girlfriends, I'd be like, yo, y'all are dumb as hell. Y'all just out here effing for free and having all these kids and doing all this dumb ish. And now here it is. I'm like, damn, even if I wanted to, I probably can't. So now it's a whole different mindset and struggle that I wasn't thinking about before. Before it was just, oh no, I just don't want to have a kid because A, I'm lazy, B, I just didn't feel like it. Now it's fuck, even if I wanted to, I probably can't. Yeah, so that's going to be a whole nother downfall when we get there. However, in my brain, I'm like, okay, this might be a future issue. So you're aware of it. How do you plan on future dating this or future dealing with this? Reclaiming my future, I put a question mark on that because, like I stated, before I got hurt, I was very materialistic and money driven. If it didn't make money, it didn't make sense. So, reclaiming my future definitely still has a question mark on it because what version of my future am I reclaiming? We're building it. That's literally the only way I could say that. Um, Reclaiming my right to exist without consistently proving my worth. I'm still working on that portion because this is where now I'm being hit with the, oh, you're full of yourself. Oh, you believe you're better than, and I'm like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. Like, if you feel like I'm better than you, just be like, yo, I feel like you're better than me, and then I'm be like, you really don't have a reason to think or feel that way, but it is what it is. Um, so I'm still working on through that portion to where when I hear certain conversations, I no longer downplay myself or be like, oh my God, no, no, if you feel that way, yes, you have all right to feel that way because, bitch, I know I've been through a lot. So, yeah, please continue to do whatever you feel. Then I jumped into a process of the 80-20 because I have this whole rule of like 80-20 before I got hurt, where 80% of whatever I was doing had to go back into self. So, like, make sure I always took care of me. And then the 20% was play. So I flipped that whole entire process. And then I started to ask myself, well, what 20% is going to be able, what can I do now at 20% that's going to help me get to an 80%? Because I can't flip it anymore. Like before, my 80% was survival mode and everything that, trauma, all this other shit. So now here it is. I have to do the opposite of that. And I came up with like five possible 20% that could equal 80 as long as I continue to show up. So number one, I have therapy. Um, yeah, hit up my psychiatrist today and they're like, yeah, our rates are now $550. And I was like, holy shit, we're definitely not doing that. And then, of course, I asked again, like, hey, so how much is it for me to get back just my regular therapist? And her rates are now like 220. And I'm like, bet. So we are going to definitely just turn on the fucking camera and we're going to brain dump because how are you supposed to? And I literally had to say, oh, so you guys also forgot that I have brain damage and that we had us on this whole suicidal conversation. So if you believe that I'm still having all these issues and problems, why the F can I not have somebody to talk to for free or for a reduced cost? Yeah. Um, so therapy, healing, and self awareness is going to be my number one. And I'm still going to be putting in my 20% into that. Continue to go with support system and having consistent personal development. I have that as a question mark also because my personal development's going to change periodically. Um, I never want to get stuck on just one habit, essentially. Da, 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 da. Also, creating content around authentic experiences because what I'm noticing a lot of times whenever I say stuff, especially now that I've experienced the whole idea of memory loss. Now I know for a fact if I'm saying something, that's because this information came from somewhere or because I heard it cited by someone else. So just a lot of stuff I'm able to lock in to know. Okay, um, this is a factual thing, or this is not a factual thing, or this is a made up thing. Like I'm figuring out now how to better categorize what is that conversations per se. So I'm working on that. What else? What else? Oh, and then my last 20% that's going to equal my 20 is learning to slow down instead of forcing outcomes. If y'all knew me, I was the little crackhead where it's going to fit. You didn't have a choice. The shit's going to fit. Like, yeah. So now to let go, let God, relinquish control, especially with myself. Um, that is something that I'm having to work through every day. And just, yeah, I cry more than I actually like laugh at this point in time. And it's like, yo, I love the pain. Like, I literally had to sit here today and say, fuck, pain is not a bad thing. I literally had to say every fucking time I've been in pain or I've had some form of pain, I had to experience this because when I started to laugh at the pain, that's when there was growth. That's when I was able to go to the next level because now I could laugh about this shit and it was no longer painful. So, yeah, me sitting here and doing this exercise today showed me like I love pain and I love pain because it's for me, it's my growth. For me, this is my alchemy. For me, it's yeah, I sit here and I might talk about the same damn thing for 2, 3 weeks, but just know by the fourth week there's some form of a solution. Like, yeah, I'm getting back to me and I love that. Um, so my biggest energy drainers that I had to like finalize was the unhealed fear. So this idea of ever being healed to a certain level or being healed enough, I had to get over that. Um, Getting over not being able to communicate how I feel and then offending somebody else. Had to get over that. Like, you're gonna offend somebody regardless. Financial uncertainty. I'm working diligently to get over that. Overthinking, still working on that, like I said, and that's where like the app and everything else would come in. So when I start to overthink, start to dose. Um, Compare my timelines to my old life. I had to rock that in my brain. Like, you're never gonna be the same person. However, you can be better than that person. And while you're being that better of a person, this time around, you can't be as given as you were. Uh, Especially because you have proof to say, yo, yeah, you were given, but when you needed that give back, who the fuck was there to give back to you? Like, I literally had strangers that I never met a day in my life, be like, yo, we're going to help you, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna bed you, we're gonna clothe you. Like, that's how crazy my whole entire existence got flipped to in a day type shit. So even stuff like that makes me kind of like, fucking, what is that shit where you want to like partially cry, but you don't want to cry? Like, that whole thought process to me is like, but wait, you have family. Do you see where I'm just like, yeah, this is why when people also try to like talk to me about certain things, I'm like, please don't. I'm not the one. Like, just, yeah. So, what else? What else? Trying to do everything all at once. That's something that I definitely have to stop putting so many energy in, like this whole multitasking shit. Relationships that lack proper conversation, proper accountability, proper reciprocity, and proper relationship skills. You hear that? Proper relationship skills. Okay. Living in future outcomes instead of present action. Living in future outcomes instead of present actions. So that is something that I'm working diligently with. And I say that because as much as I'm trying my best to stay present, every so often I notice I do disassociate, and it's like, okay, so is the dissociation because I am not essentially in a place where I feel safe or I feel comfortable? Like, that's where now I have to figure out, like, okay, how do I keep present and not continue to dissociate? So I'm working on that. When I tell you I have a list, I got a list. So these are literally things where I'm just like every day. So far, I'm going to be working on those. And Mondays is going to definitely just be our mindset Mondays, our brain dump Mondays. Um, And, just reflection of what you did either the previous day or the previous year before. That's literally what we're going to end up turning Mondays into. But literally, please recap over with yourself or with other individuals. Reflect over your last 12 months. So, for recap, I did relationship. And remember, you have to be completely honest with yourself. Like, you need to be as raw and uncut as possible. Everybody loves to say that they're self aware. And then when it comes time for them to be self aware, you're like, but you just said you're self aware. I'm confused. Like, you should never be offended when somebody tell you something and then you say you're self aware. It doesn't make sense. Then that means you're just trying to be self aware, but you're not really self aware because there's nothing you're not going to tell me about myself, and I'm going to tell you, like, I know. Being self aware also lets you know the people that you allow to run over you when necessary. Yeah, that's also a gem that no one essentially tells you because everyone will tell you, "Oh, I'm self-aware." Da, da. Yeah, but there's specific people where even if you're self-aware, you allow those people to get away with murder because you like that person more than you like somebody else. Type shit. So, um, you want to write down your last 12 months and your reflection, literally 1 to 2 statements or sentences, nothing long. So you have your relationships, you have your work and purpose, your finances, your health and body, home and environment, or home environment could be one sentence altogether. Your creative life, your energy, and then when you're finished, you're gonna ask yourself. So overall, after you've listed all those themes and you wrote out different parts of what you realized about your life, then you're going to say, well, what did this whole entire theme look like? So were you begging? Were you reclaiming your body? Were you asking for forgiveness? Like, what did your theme look like over the past 12 months? And how do you plan on changing your theme? So, like I said, for mine, it's reclaiming everything that I pretty much lost in 2024. Only difference, now I'm doing it from a complete different mindset, different financial pocket, just different everything. Um, After you do your theme, you then want to go ahead and jump into what's going to be your 20%. So again, I'm lazy. I know me. When you're self aware, you know who the hell you are and you get to love yourself. So, yes, I can knock shit out if I feel like it, but I really, really got to be into it, right? So, I had to flip my 80-20 rule. Before I used to do stuff at 80%, now I do stuff at 20%, and I really, really have to want to do it. So, with that being said, how am I now going to do less and get more? Right. So, from there, you're going to list 5 things that you're able to do that's going to still maximize to where you're going to get to your 80% and be able to complete whatever that said goal is. And then, of course, once you do that, you're then going to go ahead and list your 8 biggest energy drainers. And your energy drainers, again, it could just be statements. It doesn't have to be super long sentences. Like I said, mine was unhealed fear. It could be super short. Mine is action rather than thinking and waiting. Okay, I see you. Can we get in on this on a PDF or checklist? Who said it's not already on a PDF for a checklist? See, you should already know me by now. But yes, it's technically already on a PDF, or rather, I have it on like on a checklist thing. So once you go ahead and you do that, tomorrow we're gonna jump in. Tomorrow for the beginning portion of for the beginning portion of the day, we're gonna jump into the second half. So from there, my comments or my follow up with that is what is it? Who did I say I want to become versus who did I become? So these are the questions that I asked that you're going to be asking yourself after you go through and you do your 12-month breakdown and you've already listed everything that essentially is wrong with you and you plan to improve on it. Well, I need the dose coach. I got you. So from there, your follow-up question is, who did I say I would be versus who did I become? And of course, you want to be super honest with yourself, again, because you're self aware. So you should be able to rip yourself a new asshole and it should never hurt your feelings. From there, you're going to then step into your step two, which is building your new identity. We're going to go over that tomorrow. And please, for your identity statements, make them I am statements. Everything when you speak about yourself, it needs to be I am. So I'm a bitch. I am great. Whatever it is, I am needs to be in front of it. Also, when you're speaking to individuals, start using I am statements when you speak about your feelings, because that's when you're really going to be able to know how, I don't want to use this word, but you're going to know how emotionally incompetent a lot of people are when you start to say, so I feel, and then they're going to turn it into something. It's like, wait, but I'm telling you, I feel a type of way, or I feel like this because of this reason. And when the person turns it back around to them, yeah. So I am statements or I feel statements are definitely should be somewhere included in your new identity, because of the simple fact of you're given ownership to everything that you are deciding to touch. Mommy, spare her, please. Y'all are too funny. All right. So from there, you also gonna do your three core objects. Your objects would be, so for example, my one of my objects is building a coaching business that's going to generate unlimited funds every month consistently. I never put a limit on the amount of money essentially that I can make, because of the simple fact of I'm fucking Mother Earth. Like I'm unlimited. Like why should I ever put a price cap on anything? So definitely getting back into that mindset and working hard to stay there. So you want to list out your objectives. List three, or if you only have one, please make it a really, really great objective. Oh, I do love my third objective though. My third objective is relocate into a lifestyle. Relocate into a lifestyle that supports health, freedom, creativity, and long-term fulfillment by January of 2028. And yeah, January 2028 or before, y'all can mark it. What is it? 10:33 p.m. on the 15th. Yeah, y'all can note that. From there, you're gonna then go ahead and write down your three core feelings. So, for example, my core feelings were safety, freedom, and significance. All right. So, for example, when I wrote safety, so my safety is I want to feel safe in my body, in my finances, in my future, and in my relationships. That's it. And then, of course, for freedom, you would write what you want, your freedom, and everything else like that. So everything that you're going to do is in threes. Once you finish that, you're going to have if and then statements. And I don't like the then statements. However, I always have them then statements, especially if you're an overthinker, you're always gonna have those then statements. So for example, for the same sections that I gave up top, so I have business, finance, healing, relationships, and personal growth. So for example, for relationships, I have if I feel unseen, then I communicate clearly instead of withdrawn. Now, for me, that's a very freaking bro. You ain't gotta tell me one time that you don't see me, because I'm leaving. Now I have to sit in the discomfort and address issues head on. I don't like it. However, I've had to do it for the past couple of months, and it's like, okay, so this is real life. So tap in with that and write your if and then statements to where it's going to be beneficial to you. Here's another example that I did. Business. If I feel overwhelmed by building my business, then I'll focus on the next revenue producing tasks only. And I say revenue producing tasks because I'm a creature that loves to have a million one busy work. So I'll end up doing everything else. And even if it's not bringing me any form of income, I'm like, well, it was getting done. No, if it's not going to bring in any kind of monetary value, don't do it. take your ass to sleep or go in the shower. Like that's when you use your fillers and then you come back. Once you do your if and then statements, we're going to jump into part 3, but we'll jump into part 3 on Wednesday. So we covered part 1 tonight. Part 2, we just went over. By the time y'all come back, we'll be good. Tomorrow, we are finishing up the second half of the credit repair portion. I'm also going to put out a list of like my skill sets and all this other shit. So I figured this is about to be like Wally World, where we're legit shit going to all of my skill sets, right? So from like wholesaling to what is it? Outsourcing, credit, and all of that. I'm literally just dropping information, and we're gonna figure out how it falls into place with the individual that you are. We're bringing back the movie nights, all of that good stuff. I just have to get my life set up, but we need the PDF. It's coming, Linda. Yes, I'm proud of you, PG. Thank you. I love you guys very much. What's up, Lazy Witch? I hope you're having a phenomenal day. But yeah, man. I'm really happy with just being able to be true to self. And one thing I could tell you guys, I do wish everyone has the experience to say, hey, I've had a death experience and I'm able to have what is it? Damn, I'm not gonna tell her to stop hitting the fork on the plate. That's rude. Sheesh. Yeah, I hope that if they do have to go back to any of this process of life, that they do have the ability to say, hey, you know what? I had this experience and I lived through it, and this is where I'm at now. Like, at first I wasn't so inclined to saying, hey, I had this experience and this is how it is, because I remember when I was among the normal and how they made other individuals felt, especially if the individuals, you know, said certain things about, damn, they're crazy or whatever it is. So yeah, people aren't nice. Like people aren't very nice. So it's like I knew what it was before, and that's probably like one of the fears that I know that I essentially have to get over, but it's just like, damn, this I don't want to be labeled, you know, the kook or whatever it is, even though I know it's going to be inevitable. But yeah, to have this experience was definitely something where today like slowed me down, where it was just like, yeah, for the past 12 months, how do you view your life? How do you view this entire situation? Like, you know, you could walk again. How do you feel now that you're able to walk? Like, just small things. Yeah. And then to not get, what is it, emotional about it. And so now in my head, I'm like, so how long does it become to where my body will then become regulated to where it's not going to be emotional about this anymore. It's not going to feel any type of way. Like all of these things is what I'm asking. And at the same time, I'm like, damn, the more I show up and the more we speak about this, how does this help me expedite this issue faster? Because of course, the more we talk about shit, this shit's gonna happen. You may always feel emotional, and that's okay. I'm proud of you. Thank you. It's appreciated. You may always feel emotional. Yeah, so I'm good with feeling the emotions. I just don't want to cry essentially every time. Like that's where I'm just like, all right, bro. Because I already know once I start crying, that's now going into something else that I don't want to venture into. So it's like I want to be crying for all the right reasons, essentially. Go back up and look at the comments. Oh, Jesus. Make sure you're always keeping a PG over there. That's a lot of comments. But yeah, man, I love you guys very much. And thank you all for tapping in with me. But we're coming back. Like, I'm no longer angry. Wait, that's the X me. I can still text my ex. So, Lazy Witch, when I tell you I never understood people, because I'm not gonna say adults. I don't understand people who date individuals and then when they separate, they unless the person did some off the wall ish, I get it. But if I know that we separated and we're decent, why we can't be friends? Why we can't have conversations? Like that is so weird. I'm like me and at least half of my exes, we're all still cool. The ones that I'm not cool with is because you were trife. Like the one that broke into my house, we're not cool anymore. You did some trife mess. The one that messed up my car, you did some trife mess. Like there's yeah. I am all for speaking to your ex as long as you know like you guys ended on a decent term. If you cry helps you clear your mind. So crying for me doesn't help me clear my mind. Actually, it's like yeah, it makes me think about other stuff that leads into like other stuff, and then it's a cluster F. Believe me, he did some abusive shit, but I'm all above it. Okay, he was below me. I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that. Well, but at least you're able to. What is that? That's technically you giving him grace. Then wouldn't that be it? Then, Lazy Witch. Yeah, I feel like that's you definitely giving him a lot of grace. Wow. Yeah, and especially if the person was abusive, that's definitely you giving them a lot of grace. And for him to try you, yeah, he didn't love his life. He did not love his life. But yeah, I'm all for if you and your exes are able to stay cordial, stay cordial. And I gave that to her data too long to type. That's why. What do you guys end up doing tonight? I hope everyone had a phenomenal Monday so far. Like the day's about to end. Thank God. And today wasn't that hot, so that was also today was like just perfect, honestly. Like I don't have anything crazy to say about today. It's up, Corky. How are you? Thank you for the heart, me. But yeah, tomorrow, definitely we're hopping in with the credit stuff. And tonight I'm going to do my best to get it set back up. I think it's close to your bedtime. My neighbor's finding TikTok and. Ooh. Wait, how does that work, Lazy Witch? Oh, Hadida, you actually have a bedtime? Oh, good shit. Wish I could be like you when I grow up. I definitely wish I could be like you when I grow up. Oh, and guys, for everyone that's doing their credit report tomorrow, please bring a copy of your credit report. I'm still gonna try and see if I can find one, and we'll go over all of that stuff tomorrow. I'm on my balcony just watching two neighbors coming in and out. Like, how's the wind? Oh, Lazy Witch, I didn't know that crawfish actually goes bad. I was speaking to my homeboy that's down in Texas, and he was saying that um, like we can't go to Louisiana at a certain time of year because the crawfish goes bad. And I'm like, I've never heard of that. No problem, Clark. I hope you had a phenomenal night or day. Not bad, just out of season. Okay, see, this is where I gotta ask somebody that lives in these states because he literally taught me down last night and was like, oh no, they go bad and all types of madness. So thank you for the clarification on that. Amberly, what did you do? Yeah, I definitely cannot wait to we can still get them, but by August it's way too much. It's way too late to peel. Oh, okay. Okay, good shit. Did not know that. I'm laughing at y'all in the bedtime. Hmm. She's laughing because they asked me about bedtime. It must be nice. Like I said, when I grow up, I want to be like y'all and have a bedtime. Definitely want to be like y'all when I grow up and have a bedtime. But yeah, man, I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Now you can get crawfish. Wait, what? Huh? Wait, why do you stay away from boiled crawfish? See, lazy, we gotta have a conversation about this because I wasn't aware that you're supposed to stay away from boiled crawfish, especially because most of the places that we normally go to, they always serve it boiled. Love you too, really, because they're too hard. Oh, the company's phrasing it to use in other ways. Really? Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I did not know that. Thank you so much for the education on that, for sure. Yeah, definitely didn't know that. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm trying to work out a time as to when I'm gonna start going live, especially for like the educational portions of live. However, with how my life is set up, I'm really not trying to set a time frame and then can't fulfill the time frame. So I'm gonna be working on that. Oh, and I'm also thinking that it's gonna be days of the week. So Monday we'll do mindset and like opening conversations. Start the week. Crawfish Monday, look at crawfish. Oh, crawfish etouffee. Jesus, oh, all on my tongue. Yes. Oh, the crawfish. Oh, the crawfish Alfredo. Yes. You see, lazy witch. We could. You have my heart. Just know. Just know. This is why I also know I need a chef, like, or somebody that cooks, because I'm way too lazy. And it's not that I can't cook. I just choose not to cook type shit. So yeah, y'all got you. Ooh, and a purple heart. Bet come through. I pull up. I'll bring the wine or whatever you drink. I got you. So yes, definitely mindsets to start off the Mondays, and then from there we're gonna jump into everything else. But I'm super excited we're getting back out here and for being able to just brain dump with you individuals and yeah, get my thoughts out. So thank y'all for giving me a platform to do so. PDF with everything essentially is it's coming. Yeah, and also the information on the app definitely dropping later today. Almost at 14K. Thank you. I love you guys very much. I hope you guys are gonna continue to show up for yourself. And when I say I hope you are, I say that because as much as you might feel like, you know, every day is gonna be a winning day, take it from a person that fucking has brain damage. Every day is not a winning day. Every day you literally have to fake it till you fucking make it. However, faking it till you making it doesn't always equal that you're gonna make it. So you also have to know at some point you gotta stop faking it. Like you need to just either show up and show out and just know that it's gonna be safe, unsafe to be seen, and it's your situation or your experience. Hey Mal, what's up? How are you? Your situation or your experience, it's gonna be what you make it. And I say that also because that's something that I also got to tell myself every day, every fucking day. I'm like, yo, this experience is what you make it. Yes, you love the pain, but bitch, you've always loved pain. Like, this is how you get through shit. You feel me? When I start to laugh at my pain, or when I start to just be like, oh shit, that doesn't hurt the same anymore. Like, wait, are we growing? Like that's how for me my moments work. You feel me? Like So find what works for you. Figure out how you're gonna make whatever it is that you're going through the most playful process, the most childlike process. Um, just everything. You feel me? Record your whole entire fucking life. Like, uh, it's funny that when I got before I got hurt, I remember I used to record everything, and because people know me, they talk everything. I don't give a fuck if I said it somewhere along the line. Again, I meant it or experienced it, something. And I remember everybody used to say, "Oh, you talk too much. Oh, you tell people too much about your life. Oh, this, oh that." And with me looking back and saying, "Oh shit." Like I recorded this, I recorded that. Like it's clarification that there's so much shit that I've said I've done, but yet other people never validate it because I said it or because it wasn't resonating at that time type shit. So yeah, man, just show up for yourself, and if you're not gonna show up for yourself, find your why and make sure that it's something that. Let me read my comment. Make sure it's something that's gonna work for you. It mean that you always make an effort. Yes, you definitely always want to make an effort. You always have to make an effort, for sure, for sure. Um, and of course, keep in mind that your effort's always going to feel as, what is it? As big as you make it, or extravagant as you'll make it. But yeah, man, I love you guys so much. Please continue to show up for yourself. Tomorrow we're hopping back in. We're finishing up our credit. I think Tuesdays is going to be our credit days. Yes, for sure. So tomorrow we're hopping in. We're wrapping it up. Our credit conversations. And yeah, we'll be good to go. So definitely, I love you guys. Love you, Zoich, Mel, Hadida, Embele. Love you. Tell the kids to say what's goody. And I'll see y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a phenomenal night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. See you later. Stream. Oh God. All these streams.